Good afternoon to you all. I would like to thank you for the invitation to take part once again in this important summit that brings together Asia-Pacific leaders and CEOs from leading global companies. It's my second time in this meeting. The first one was in Thailand. I got to learn a lot in the exchange with other leaders and other entrepreneurs. And the causes and responses to the most urgent challenges of our time are, of course, protecting or ensuring peace, and we are failing. Also, democracy and human rights, and there are some parts of the world in which we are failing. To face the effects of the climate crisis, and we are doing our best, but it's not enough. Dynamize our economies, fight inequality, and promote technological progress that means a better quality of life to the majority, not only to a few. And that, of course, transcends not only national borders, but also the barriers between the public and private sector. As you are, of course, aware, the main challenges that we are facing nowadays in humanity don't recognize frontiers. The pandemic of COVID-19, and for sure the ones to come, they don't care whether Chile ends in the desert of Atacama or a little bit northern, or if Italy is closer or not to other countries of Europe. It passes by. Also climate change. We as a country from Chile, we contribute to a small amount of the contamination and pollution of the problems that has brought us to climate change, but we are one of the countries that are most affected for it. This year, we have had several fires that destroyed hundreds of thousands of acres in the southern regions, in the central and southern regions of our country. And a couple of months ago, we also had big floods, which we were not used to, at least since 30 years ago. Other topic that we have to discuss is migration. Migration is a problem not about numbers, it's about people, it's about democracy, it's about human rights. I have just read a book about the journey of a young man from Syria who had to walk and pass through the Mediterranean with his lonely son, who was just 1.5 years in order to get to France, and all the hard times he had to pass. And that might seem some far away from us, Syria. It might be difficult to empathize when something is happening so far away. But in our region, we are living it too. Almost 6 million of Venezuelan people have migrated for their country. And in Chile, only in Chile, we have received more than 800,000 of them. What to say about the migration in Central America that are going to the north, Mexico, the States, maybe Canada? And what is the common ground on all these topics? We cannot face them alone. We cannot face them alone. And I know we are in APEC, we are not in the UN now, so the main things that we have to discuss now are in the topics of economy, because we are 21 economies, 21 pushing economies. But when economy is doing well, people is doing well. And I strongly believe that we can do better. Today, maybe more than ever because of globalization, the destiny of each one of us is intertwined with the destiny of the other. I remember a reflection that Syrian guy I read about, Hakim was his name. He had a nursery in Damascus. And one of his reflections said, I was doing so well 1 year and a half ago, and now I'm trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea with my child from 1 year and a half and a couple of dozens of other refugees with big chances to get drowned. But 1 year and a half ago, I was doing great. What do I mean by this? Is that the problems that we are facing on the world, especially the weakness of our political systems, cannot, instead, the strength of our political systems cannot be taken for granted. And so, at least in our countries, we are aware that democracy has to deliver profits for all the people, not only for the ones that have the wealth. So, these meetings provide avenues for dialogue between different key sectors for economic and social development are so necessary, and I really hope that not only my speech, but the meetings that are going on the pool sides help to bring more investment, to bring more knowledge, to bring more confidence to the relationships we have to have in between our countries. Which is the role of APEC, and what are we doing in Chile about it? We have a lot of work to do, and we must act urgently for ourselves and future generations. This is not anymore a conversation about the future, it's happening now. I don't know if you have had the opportunity to listen, for example, to the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Amor Motley. I hugely recommend you to take a look at her speeches, because her country might disappear now. Or if you have seen what had happened in Acapulco, in Mexico, we have a role to play, governments, civil society, and the private sector as investors, services providers, and job creators in many local communities. But we have to rebuild confidence. We need to rebuild confidence, because without confidence, there's nothing. If we see each other as strangers or only as guys that are trying to compete with the other, we are not going to get far. However, maybe because I'm from a little town in the south of Chile, close from Antarctica, I'm really confident. I'm confident that we can move forward together in finding bold, innovative, and collective solutions. In that sense, I revel against pessimism, because pessimism only serves to the ones who want to maintain status quo. In this sense, with great pride and responsibility, I can say that our country, which we are really proud of, Chile, has the potential to become a main platform for sustainable investment and innovation, not only in Latin America, but in the world, especially in the energy transition and the digital economy. We are committed to contribute from the south of the world to global solutions to the changes that this century demands us. Chile is interested in collaborating with all countries, none serving any hegemonic pretensions, and that's why we have the worldwider net of treaties of free commerce with countries throughout the world. We have a free trade with China. We have a free trade agreement with the United States. We have just come to an agreement of modernization of our free trade agreement, which also adds another chapters, for example, in culture or innovation, education with the European Union, and we are really looking forward to do more treaties alike, for example, with India or other countries in some places that we haven't been looking to them. The necessary global shift towards a greener and more digital economy does not come to Chile as a burden, but as an opportunity to make a qualitative change into our development model. If for more than a century our country was well known for raw materials that some foreign companies extracted from a country and sold them outside and manufactured them outside, now we are saying we are able to create chains of value in our country. Of course, in companion, in synthesis with the private sector and with other countries. This is thanks to the wealth of our natural resources of copper and lithium, the sun of the Atacama Desert, and the strong winds of Patagonia, where I come from. It is also the result of state policies and cross-cutting alliances with the private sector. We have decided several years ago with the presidency of Michelle Bachelet that some areas, some topics are not going to be only faced by the rule of government, but they were going to be state politics. So it doesn't matter who is in government, the politics stay the same, because we know that investment in these areas, for example, energy, requires long-term criteria. Today, we are taking concrete steps to seize this opportunity, to not let it go. We want to grow and develop, and we welcome foreign investment, and we do so with a focus on finding partners to add value to our raw materials, applying cutting-edge science and technology into our processes, and generate productive linkages and create decent jobs in our country with the respect of the communities. Chile aims to actively participate in global value chains, through innovation, creating high-quality products that compete on the world stage, and this potential is not just a dream because it is becoming now a reality. I was a couple of weeks ago in China and had a good meeting with President Xi Jinping, and with one of the companies of China, we signed an agreement in order to invest in the lithium industry for $230 million in order to develop lithium cathodes in our country. And we are expecting to open that market not only to that companies, but also to other companies wide world, because we know we need collaboration, not only competition, collaboration in order to seize this big opportunity of electric transformation. Chile aims to actively participate in global value chains through innovation and creating, as I said, highly quality products that compete on the world stage. And which is our commitment nowadays? We are the first country in Latin America to set by law. I think that Fiji made it first, but in Latin America, we are the first one to set by law the goal of carbon neutrality by 250. And I'm very proud because today we had a great news. My Minister of Energy sent me the news. I want to read it to you, which said that the participation of renewable energies has reached a 93.5 in the national electric system. And we are glad of that. We are proud of that. And I think we can do even better because we have had some problem on the transmission. Santiago is also the city with the largest fleet of electric buses outside of China. Moreover, Chile has reached a new record of 35% participation of non-conventional renewable energy to our energy matrix. Participation that is increasing every day. The data that I gave you today is from just today. We recently awarded investment projects to manufacture lithium cathodes, and finally this month we had the first commercial shipment of eco-fuels based on green hydrogen from the southern region of Magallanes to England. We are already producing green hydrogen to exportation. But I know that when presidents stand up in this podium, they only tell you the good things about their country. And of course, we also have problems, and we are facing those problems. We have had for some years some uncertainty, for example, in our constitutional process. But I can assure you that this year, after the plebiscite, whatever is the result that the people choose, that process, it will come to an end. Because we know that in order to have a development of long term, we need certainty. Uncertainty is what a country, a serious country like Chile, can provide with the fiscal manage that we have of our economy. I do not intend to paint a picture devoid of challenges. We have certainly had them. But my country, I can assure you, it's moving forward and we can do much in the future. We have proven that it's possible to achieve great things when we focus on what unites us. I don't know if you're aware, but we have just organized the Pan American Games, which all athletes from throughout America, from Canada to Argentina, and the Caribbean and Central America, all athletes came to Chile, and we had a great challenge, and we passed it through. And on Friday, we are organizing the Paralympics challenges, and we made it. And it was a great party from sport. We have proved that it's possible to achieve great things when we focus on what unites us. And even though we have differences in the local politics, I'm totally confident that we can do even better. That's why Chile remains as a reliable partner and an attractive destination for investment. We have a robust institution and clear rules that provide the legal certainty necessary for economic development. You can rest assured that this will continue to be the case in the years to come. Let me put you another example. For almost 10 years, we were discussing with the US. Congress about a treaty that let us not have a double taxation system. And today we have ended that process. So the investments from Chile to the States and from the States to Chile will no longer have to pass through the double taxation. And our government, my government, is genuinely committed to promoting productivity and sustainable growth. We have maintained a responsible fiscal policy that has enabled us to reduce inflation. Last year we were at like 12.5 points of inflation. Nowadays we are under 5, and we are the reach of the central bank is being beyond under 3%. This year we will come under 5, I hope under 4 maybe even. But of course the next year we will get to the reach of the central bank. And we reversed the prediction of an economic recession significantly. There were people that were saying that Chile was going inevitably to a catastrophe, and we are not. We have been able to fight those prejudgments, and with a responsible but also an ambitious policy, we have been able to raise the minimum wage. We have been able to assure free health in the public system, to reduce inflation, and to avoid the economic crisis that some people were prognosticating. In addition, we have implemented a robust agenda to eliminate the red tape and streamline permitting for investment projects while maintaining environmental, labor, and labor standards suited for a sustainable economy and just society. And at the same time, we are committing to advancing in public policies that addresses the long neglected social needs of Chileans. We are convinced that a greater social cohesion, a better coexistence, and a citizenry satisfied with public institutions are the best guarantees of stability that we can offer. We need to grow more. Chile has been stagnated since about 10 years. And we need to make the state more efficient. And we, especially myself, we are really committed into that. We have to take advantage of the today unique opportunities. But for that, we need to work together with public and private sector, and of course with the economies that are here represented. Those are our convictions in Chile. And I know those convictions are also shared by the APEC Vision 2040, which the APEC partners gave to us in a big summary a couple of days ago. Many solutions that are changing the world are born from the opportunities provided by the advancements of science and technology. And I know, as you might all know here, especially in San Francisco, that change is resisted. And this is well known, the host city of this APEC, San Francisco, the birthplace of great companies and startups that have revolutionized our lives. How many of these companies would not have come to where they are now if they had followed the mainstream opinions? Chile recognized the transformative power of innovation and its ability to open new avenues for growth and development. But that means also that we have to be willing to face risk and to fail. Because in failure, there is also learning. Of course, when we are talking about public resources, we have to be even more careful, because it's not our money, it's our contributors' money, our constituency money. But The Startup Chile government program has gained worldwide recognition for its role in accelerating ventures such as NotCo, Corner Shop, and Betterfly. And we will soon send a bill to Congress to create a new development financing agency that will promote private initiatives for innovation and adoptions of new technologies in line with the experience of countries such as New Zealand and Germany. The areas of cooperation are diverse, such as agrotechnology, creative industries, and electromobility. We have a huge opportunity on electromobility, especially due our resources on copper and lithium. We are also fully prepared to contribute knowledge and technology transfer where we have expertise, such, for example, as in earthquake-resistant infrastructure, astronomy and space, mining, among others, with the knowledge that is created in our universities that are really good level universities. In particular, and to end up this short presentation, I would like to highlight what steps are we taking to advance in the digital transformation. This places us today as the best prepared country in Latin America to start the new digital economy model according to the Digital Readiness Index. This is not only my will, my desire, but it's certified by this index. We have invested in digital infrastructure such as fiber optic and 5G networks, and companies like Google, Microsoft, Oracle, and Huawei have chosen Chile to install data centers. Likewise, Singapore, France, the United States, Estonia, the United Kingdom, and India have recently chosen us as a market for the development of software and information technology, and we are looking forward to become a hub of technology for all Latin America. We are the 8th economy in the OECD with the highest number of mobile bandwidth data subscribers, and we have the fastest fixed broadband internet in the planet. At state level, we are fighting to reduce bureaucracy. It's not easy. By using a single digital key for government procedures, which is called Clave Única. And on the international level, we are promoting an unprecedented digital economy partnership agreement to promote the sector and ensure the inclusion of smaller companies and vulnerable groups. Additionally, we seek to play an active role in the discussion around establishing an ethical framework for the responsible development and use of artificial intelligence. Actually, last month, we have a big summit that we hosted in Chile with all the Latin American and Caribbean Minister of Science in order to address these issues. And it's a topic I had the opportunity also to talk to President Xi Jinping and President Biden a couple of weeks ago. With these backgrounds, I would like to invite you to see our country, Chile, with enthusiasm, advancing to the digital economy who will always be open to collaboration within a framework of technology neutrality that is established by law and non-discriminatory treatment. We know, my friends, that the world is going through difficult times, and we must redouble our efforts to ensure that dialogue prevails, that human rights and international humanitarian law are respected in our countries and in other countries, because human rights must not be negotiable, and we have to stand up our voices wherever human rights are violated. It doesn't matter who is the government that are violating them. Even in the most extreme condition, humanity has to prevail. And there are certain values and principles that we must respect, red lines that we shall not cross. We advocate for peace in Middle East. We, of course, condemned the terrorist attack that Hamas had made into civilians. And we demand the immediate freedom of the hostage. And at the same time, we demand to stop the bombing in Gaza by the Israeli army, by the government of Netanyahu. We cannot stand as thousands of people had been killed in such a little weeks. Also, as we have said it before, and this is an economic forum, but we cannot stay quiet about this. We keep on condemning the unfair and illegal invasion that Russia made to Ukraine. We advocate for peace in our region and in the world. We also know that APEC represents a diverse set of cultures and economy, and we do not pretend that we all have to think alike. But I'm sure we can agree that human rights as a civilizatory advance must be preserved, and humanity has to preserve through everything. And commerce, science, sports, education are better than war. And we can work harder on that view in order to help from our little or medium countries. In Chile, we are really proud to contribute to being a bridge between Latin America and the Asia-Pacific region. We hope that other countries from our region can join this special forum. For example, Colombia, which is trying now to participate from the APEC meeting. From this place, we will continue to promote the regional integration worldwide and the adoption of effective agreements with the hope that the future that awaits us will be more auspicious and prosperous for all and more fair for all the people, for all the inhabitants in the world. Thank you very, very much.